Hi everybody, welcome back. So I recently put up a December empties video, and I said in that video that I want to do a separate video about all of the makeup items I finished off in 2023, and I've got them all out here in front of me. I have finished off in 2023 a grand total of 28 pieces of makeup, which I am really happy about. I keep track of my empties throughout the year on my phone. I have a notes app on my phone where I just document all of the empties that I finish off, and I hadn't kept it as up to date as I thought I had. I thought I finished off 24 pieces of makeup, and then it wasn't until I was going through my empties bag that I found a few more bits of makeup, and then I double checked it with my inventory, made sure it was all correct, and yeah, the grand total is 28 bits of makeup, so really chuffed with that. Most of the makeup items are project pan items, which, you know, makes sense. I have a rolling project pan throughout the year and it does focus entirely on makeup, but there are a few bits of makeup here that haven't come from my project pan, so it's really promising to know that I'm using up makeup that I'm not focusing on, that I'm not trying to use up, so that's pretty good. And looking at the makeup in front of me, I have got something from near enough every category. Most categories of my makeup collection I've got an empty for in here, so I think I've done pretty well for 2023. And also I want a replacement only no buy for this year, so if this is the makeup that I can finish off while still adding more makeup into my collection, I'm excited to see how many bits of makeup I can finish off this year. So let's go through all of these bits of makeup. I'm going to test my memory, see if I can remember what I think about every single bit of makeup here in front of me. So let's start off with primers. I finished off 2 primers. The first one here, this is the NYX Plump Right Back Primer. I wanted to try a hydrating drugstore primer because I love the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Rich Face Base, but it's not the cheapest primer, and this came up as a suggestion, and initially I wasn't that impressed. I was thinking, yeah, it's alright, but doesn't really compare to the Bobbi Brown one. But it wasn't until that I focused on it and kept using it that in the end I actually really grew to quite like this primer. I did find it really quite hydrating. Yes, still not as hydrating as the Bobbi Brown one, but this is a pretty good alternative and at a much more budget friendly price as well. It's probably like a quarter of the price, and what I really like with this one as well is that it's a pump and the mechanism just moves up, so you use up every single bit of product in here. You don't have to worry about cutting the tube open and scraping out the rest of the product, so it is quite a hygienic type of product, and I do like a pump when it comes to any of my beauty products really. I just find it really quite a convenient mechanism to use. So yeah, I did really quite like this one. I would recommend it and I would be interested in trying it again. One that I wasn't that impressed with though is by Vive. This is the Skin Nova Primer. I cut this open like I do with all tube packaging, but I cut this open pretty early into me using this because the pump didn't want to work. I had a video or two up on my channel, I can't recall what video it was now, where I was using this and I was pumping it like 20 times and nothing was coming out, so I think I might have just had a defective pump. But I wasn't really that impressed with this primer. I don't feel like it did much. I don't feel like it gave my skin a nice glow on its own, or that it was even that hydrating. It was just okay, and between the two I would prefer to use the NYX one again, and the NYX one is probably about half the price of the Vive one, so it's quite rare for me to not like a Vive product. I love most Vive products, but this one just didn't do it for me, and it's interesting because this is quite a popular product from Vive. I think it's one of their best sellers, but it just didn't really do it for me. Disappointingly, I've only used up 1 foundation this year. I think I got a bit complacent. I think I recall looking at my inventory and going, oh, I've got these foundations that aren't going to go off until like end of the year or beginning of 2024. I don't need to work on a foundation. And then what happened is that I didn't focus on any, and then they all started to be very soon to coming up to being out of date. So note to self, don't do that again. This is the Touche Eclat foundation by Yves Saint Laurent. This was in my project pan for about 6 months. This was in my project pan for quite some time. This is a really nice foundation. It's quite glowy, it's quite radiant, it gives your skin like a nice kind of healthy glow, but I'm just moving away from foundation. So it is my aim this year to use up the rest of my foundations and really whittle down my category. But this is quite a nice one. Expensive because it's Yves Saint Laurent, but I did enjoy using that one. I finished up one concealer. It is a mini and it's by NARS. This is the Radiant Creamy Concealer, which is a really popular concealer. It's quite often recommended on lists of like top makeup products to try. But I think I'm in the minority with this concealer because I don't really like it that much. I don't think that it's that good. It's that hydrating or even that good at concealing. It's quite drying and it's not very nice to apply under your eyes. It's a bit stubborn to work with. I was just very underwhelmed with this concealer, and I'm glad that I only bought it in a mini because I didn't spend more money on the full size one, and it also meant as well that I didn't need to spend more time using up a full-size product. And I think for me, minis are the way to go in the future if I'm unsure about whether I'm going to like a product or not, because you have enough product to try it to get an opinion of something, but it's not going to take you ages to completely use it up. So yeah, bit disappointed in that concealer. I wouldn't be buying that again. Powders, I did really well. I finished off 3 powders this year. I cannot recall when I last finished off a powder, so the fact that I finished off 3 this year, I am giving myself a big pat on the back for that. Well done me. Firstly, the Laura Mercier Loose Translucent Setting Powder. This was for quite some time my only powder. Oh, there's... How is that powder there? Okay, so some powder has gotten on the top here. But this I've had in my collection for quite a few years, and it was the only powder that I was really using. So it does take you quite a long time to use up. I wasn't really that impressed with this. I don't know whether it's my skin, but I find it really difficult to find a powder that really tones down my oiliness, my oily T-zone, but also at the same time is good for hydrating and sort of setting concealer under the eyes. I don't know whether I need to use a couple of powders, but this one, it was okay. I don't really know if it's as good as people say it is. This is quite a hyped up powder. In terms of cost and how long it lasts you, it's absolutely worth the money, but underwhelmed with that one as well. Next powder I finished off was my pressed powder. This was the powder that I kept in like my work bag, or I would take in my handbag if I'm out for the day. It comes with a really disgusting compact. This is great for toning down oiliness. Once I used up the Laura Mercier one, I then used this one to set my makeup first thing in the morning, but it performs a lot better for touch-ups throughout the day. It's a white powder and it just tones down any kind of like oiliness. It's called the Invisimatte Blotting Powder, so it's not really for sort of like setting makeup, I suppose. It is just for toning down oiliness and shine throughout the day, so it's really, really great for that, and I would recommend this one. I would buy that one again. I really did like it. And then the third powder was from Vive. This is another pressed powder, but this is in a shade. So I got mine in the shade Light. This is a very, very delicate powder. It comes with a mirror as well. Mine somehow had a little chunk of powder chipped away from the corner. I don't really know how it happened, but since that happened, more and more of it started to chip and crumble. So I did have to repress it. And I have heard as well that a few other people have had similar things happen. Their powder has arrived in the post when they've delivered it, when they've ordered it, and it's been completely shattered. So I think the formula of this powder is just very delicate, so you do need to be careful with it. But it's quite a lovely powder. It's very finely milled. It's not very heavy or obvious. It's not hugely drying as well. It's a really lovely lightweight powder, but I still feel like this didn't do an amazing job of toning down my oiliness. So I'm still after a good powder that does that. The one size powder has been recommended to me, but I want to try it in a mini, and so far it is out of stock. So once it comes back in stock, I will give that one a go. I used up one bronzer this year. This is by Fenty. This is the powder bronzer in the shade Shady Biz 02. So this was the second lighter shade that they do. Really great colour for me. It's not hugely orange or muddy. It's a really beautiful, just warm flush of bronze. Really easy to blend in as well. You can build it up quite nicely. I did quite like this powder. I prefer the cream though to the powder one, but still quite lovely to use. But I still don't think it's my ideal powder. I'm still on the hunt for like my perfect bronzer, and bronzer is a type of product that I like to try lots of different brands of as well. But I would recommend this if you're a pale person like myself. This is a really great option because, like I say, it's not orange, it's not muddy, and the formulation is really lovely to work with as well. I also used up one blusher. This is by Stila. This is in the shade Lilium. It's the convertible colour dual lip and cheek cream. I didn't use this on my lips though because I found it too drying. Again, it's got a little mirror in there. I bought this because this is the shade that was used on Daphne, Phoebe, who plays Daphne in Bridgerton, and I just loved the makeup in that TV series. It was just so beautiful and so radiant, but not very obvious, so I wanted to try it. It does pull a little bit too neutral on me, so I did mix this in with peach blushes, and then it really warmed up the makeup and it was really lovely. But the formula of this is excellent. It is so easy to work with. I would take a brush, dip in, and then blend it onto the back of my hand and then apply it on my face, but you can use your fingers as well. Just a really gorgeous formulation. I would be keen to try more shades of these, maybe warmer shades, but if you're after a really easy to use, very flattering, glowy, but not really dewy blusher, cream blusher, I would recommend this one. Highlighter, also used up one. This is a mini by Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Hollywood Flawless Filter. This went viral at the beginning of this year and I just wanted to try it, but like with the NARS concealer, I didn't want to get a full size, so I thought let's try it in mini. And again, I'm glad that I only bought this in a mini. I wouldn't want to have the full size of this. It didn't impress me enough to warrant having the full size. The packaging of this is great. You take out the stopper and this is entirely flat, so you can just scrape the remaining product. So I did manage to use up all of this. This is one of those products that you can use in lots of different ways. You can use it as a primer, you can use it as a highlighter mixed in with a foundation, and I tried it in all of those different ways, but I did prefer it just as a highlighter on the cheekbones. It was very pretty like that. Mine was in the shade Fair and it was a very like light, warm yellow gold colour, very flattering, very pretty highlighter. But I didn't quite get the hype with this. I still don't think that this was as good as people were saying it was, especially when it was applied all over the face. But as just a highlighter, a very nice product. I finished off one setting spray this year. This is the setting spray that I always go for. This is the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray. It's never failed me. It's just brilliant. It does a really great job of setting my makeup, making it look as good as it can look for the rest of the day. Just a really brilliant setting spray. I probably should try a few more different brands, but when you find a product that works for you, sometimes you just don't want to try other products for fear of it not working. But excellent setting spray, it's iconic. Okay, so that was all of my base products. I've got some eye products. I have an eyeshadow primer. If you've been following my channel and my project pan for quite some time, you'll remember this product. This is the NYX eyeshadow base. This was one of those products that I just didn't want to be finished with. It just kept going and going and going. But finally, at the beginning of the year, I did manage to finish it off. It's like a concealer applicator. It's a doe foot applicator. And this is an absolutely incredible eyeshadow primer. This like rivals Urban Decay Primer Potion for me. It's so affordable because it's NYX. It lasts you for such a long amount of time, so it's not something you're having to replace on a real frequent basis, and it does a brilliant job of helping my eyeshadows to not crease throughout the day. So I've got oily eyelids, so an eyeshadow primer is a must for me, and this one is brilliant. This was such a find. I don't know what made me try this one because this was the first one that I've tried, but I'm so glad that I did. It's really great when you stumble across items like that you just randomly go, oh yeah, I'll give that one a go, and then it turns out to be an incredible product. So I would highly recommend that one and would definitely repurchase that in the future. I finished off one single eyeshadow. This is by MAC and this was in the shade Shroom, so a shimmery champagne ivory type of shade, great for in your inner corners, under the brow bone, or as just a light wash of colour all over the lid, just like a very nice natural shimmer all over the lid. A really easy shade to pan and to use up. I've used up a couple of these MAC singles now, and there's a couple this year that I want to use up, so that's quite encouraging that I've used up a couple before, so I should hopefully be able to use up some more. Very pretty eyeshadow. It's nothing unique though. You can get eyeshadows like Shroom from so many brands. Basically any brand that offers eyeshadow you can get a similar shade, but I really enjoy the quality of MAC eyeshadows. I think they're brilliant, and I've had my MAC single eyeshadows since around about 2015, 2016 I would say, and they're still performing brilliantly, even though I should probably throw them away, but that's why I want to use up the rest of mine this year, because yeah, they are very much out of date. Right, mascaras. I've got 3 that I've used up this year, but for some reason I must have thrown away the other mascara, which was Clinique Lash Power. The Clinique one, I'll start with that one. That is an excellent tubing mascara. So it doesn't budge, it doesn't smudge or flake off throughout the day, and it's quite easy to remove at the end of the day when you want to wash your face and remove all your makeup. And it was a really lovely brown colour. It wasn't verging on black brown like some brown mascaras do. A really beautiful brown shade, quite warm. I would try that one again. That one is one of the best tubing mascaras that I have come across. These 2 as well are tubing. I'm pretty sure the Lash Sensational one is tubing, because I bought this one to wear with tubing mascaras, so go in with a base of this one first and then a tubing one. But then I think I found out that this one was tubing, so I didn't really need to buy it. The Sky High one is brilliant, gives you great volume. I think this did smudge on me a little bit though. I seem to recall that it wasn't entirely smudge proof, but great in terms of volume. And the Snap Mascara from Maybelline was also great as well. I don't think this one smudged too much. Oh, I can't quite recall. I really should make notes on my phone throughout the year about what I think about these products, because I forget. But what I didn't like about this one as much was the colour. This one was verging on black. I want just like a pure brown mascara, like a nice warm medium brown mascara. I don't want it to be verging on black, and this one, the shade wasn't right. So this was an excellent price, really lovely mascara, but I wouldn't buy it again because the colour was just too dark. Eyebrow products, I finished off 3. I have one eyebrow pencil. This is by NYX. This is the micro brow. I finished off quite a few of these in the past. So you have your twisty eyebrow pencil and then your spoolie on the other side. So I find these really easy to get through. I can get through a brand new one of these in like 2 months. So it's not a particularly environmentally friendly product for me, because I then have a lot of plastic waste. But it is a really lovely eyebrow pencil. It's really fine and you can be quite precise with it. It's fairly creamy, so you don't have to tug and dig really hard onto your eyebrows to draw some strokes on. It's a really lovely eyebrow pencil to work with, and I would buy these again if I wanted an eyebrow pencil, but I just prefer a gel now. But I would recommend these if you do like eyebrow pencils, but just bear in mind you'll probably get through these pretty quickly. And then I've got 2 eyebrow gels, NYX Control Freak. I think this is the second one of these that I've used up. I wouldn't buy this one again though, because the brush is like a mascara brush. It is quite chunky, so you can be messy with this. And I feel like it's not as long lasting and as durable as the Benefit one. This is the 24-hour brow setter. This one I find lasts a lot longer. It's better at separating the hairs and pushing them up. I can't even open this. There we go. And what I like about this is the brush as well. So one side is a little bit longer and then the other side is a little bit shorter. So you can be really quite precise with this. I feel like this one helps to define the brows that bit better. It is more expensive. It's like double the price or 3 times the price of the NYX one, but I do find like it is a much better product. Lip balms I used up 2. So this one is the Eucerin Acute Lip Balm. I think from memory this one was alright. It wasn't anything special. And I usually cut open tubes like this, and I don't think that I cut this one open because I don't think that I wanted to get every last little bit of product used up, because I wasn't that keen on it. I think I preferred things like Vaseline over this, And then this one is the SPF 51 from Bondi Sands in a strawberry flavour. Quite handy for the summer months. Not overly keen on the scent. I probably shouldn't have got a scented one, and again I didn't cut it open because I wasn't bothered about getting out every last bit. But what's handy about these lip balms though is that is the twist up lid and you just squeeze out the product, so it's quite easy to get product out and it's quite hygienic as well. You don't need to be using your fingers. But I'm using Vaseline now at the moment, and Vaseline is just so much better than lip balms like this and way cheaper. Lip liners, I finished off 3. Let's start with this one. This is by Vive. This is in the shade Velvet Sands, which is a warm orangey beige shade. I definitely needed a lipstick with this one. I think on its own it was a little bit too light for me. I think I needed a bit more saturation. And what I don't like with Vive lip liners is that they feel quite sticky. They're a creamy formulation, so they do apply really nicely. They're not drying, you don't need to like press down hard. They do draw on quite nicely to your lips, but once they're then on, they do feel quite sticky and quite tacky. So I needed to go in over the top with a lipstick or a lip gloss. I couldn't just wear this one on its own. I've then got a dupe for it. This is by NYX. This is in the shade Global Citizen. I think this was quite a, oh my goodness, quite a viral shade this year, I think. Pretty much exactly the same shade as Vive Velvet Sand, so it's a much cheaper alternative. This one wasn't sticky and it wasn't tacky, and again really creamy, but I don't think it was quite as long lasting as the Vive one because of it being that extra bit creamier. And then my favourite lip liner, or lip liner brand actually, NYX. This is a lip pencil in the shade Peekaboo Neutral. I think Peekaboo Neutral from memory was quite pinky brown, but I preferred natural over Peekaboo Neutral, which is why I wanted to get this one used up. Excellent formulation, not as creamy as the Vive or the other NYX lip liner, but it's still creamy enough that it applies quite nicely onto the lips. It's not drying, great level of pigmentation, and also just an excellent price point as well, around about £5 maybe for these. But I have heard that the formulation of NYX lip liners have changed, they're not as good anymore, so that's a bit of a shame because I would buy more NYX lip liners in the future, but if the formulation's changed, then I don't really want to be doing that. I've then finished off 3 lip glosses. So lip liners and lip glosses, I think, and eyebrow products actually, are the easiest products for me to entirely use up. This one is Vive Lip Dew in the shade Pesca. I love the formulation of Vive Lip Dew. I think it's one of my favourite formulations of lip glosses. The original I don't like because it's got glitter in it. So when they came out with the tinted versions, the pigmented versions, I thought great because I can get the same formulation but none of the glitter. The Pesca one is lovely. It's a light bit of peach, but it's not hugely pigmented. So on its own on my lips, I don't feel like this gave me much pigment at all. So this was definitely better over the top of like a lip liner or a lipstick. But just a gorgeous formulation, so beautiful, really hydrating, really smooth and glossy, but not sticky or tacky. Excellent formulation of lip glosses. They do a couple of other shades. I might check those shades out and see if they're suitable for me in my autumn colouring, but obviously I'm on my replacement only no buy, so I can't be buying any this year. But a lip gloss that I would come back to and I would recommend. I would also recommend as well the Kiko lip glosses. My friend recommended these to me originally, and these are brilliant. These are obviously cheaper than the Vive one, and there are so many ranges of colours that you can get in these. I got mine in the shade 4 and 19. So 4 was like a pink coral with some glitter in it. In hindsight, a little bit too pale for me, and glitter is a no-no for me in any products apart from eyeshadow. 19 was better because this was like a warm brown pink nude colour. This was like an excellent my lips but better type of colour. Great on its own, great over lipsticks, great over lip liners, brilliant colour. I would purchase that one again. But yeah, so many different shades that you can get in this formulation. So if you're after a pigmented lip gloss, go and check out Kiko. I do also have as well with me on the table the clear one that I'm trying to pan as well. So yeah, brilliant lip glosses. Would definitely recommend those and would buy more in the future. And then the last product I finished off was this Hourglass Glossy Lip Balm. I include this in my lipstick category, although this is like a lipstick lip gloss combo type of product. These went really viral this year and I think they're worth it. They are expensive, so maybe try and get them on a discount. I got mine in the shade Sense, which was a pale warm pink. Like with the Vive Lip Dew, this one didn't do too much on my lips without anything else on, so this also needed to be applied over the top of a lipstick or a lip liner, but these are so beautiful. I've got 2 more shades in my collection, Crave and Haze I think. And these are great for just adding some colour to your lips, but also the gloss effect, so they are that like 2-in-1 product. You twist up the bottom, but don't twist it all the way up because you can't bring the product back down. Easy product to work with, so yeah, you twist it up and then you can just apply it onto your lips. You don't get much product in here though. This only took me 2 months to use. I did scrape out what was left in here, but there was only enough for like 2 more days worth of use, so it's not like there's loads of product back down in the tube that you're potentially wasting. So yeah, I know these are expensive, but in my opinion they are worth it. These are like my go-to lip products because they're so easy, they're so convenient, the packaging looks quite lush as well, and yeah, they're just that 2-in-1 product, so I don't need to wear a lipstick and a gloss. I can just put some of this on. They've got a bit of a minty flavour to them, so you can feel that mintiness on your lips. To me it just feels like I've brushed my teeth and then put a lip gloss on, so I personally don't mind that sensation, but if you're a bit kind of sensitive to mint, then this might not be good for you, but I personally love this product. This is one of my favourite products that I have tried last year. Brilliant. So these were all the products that I finished off in 2023 then, and those were my thoughts. If you have tried any of the products that I've spoken about, please do let me know your thoughts as well. Also, if you keep track of your empties, please let me know how many makeup products you finished off last year as well. And I'll do a similar thing this year as well. I will be keeping track of all of my empties, hopefully a little bit better than I did last year, and I will also do an end of 2024 makeup empties video, and hopefully, what with me being on my replacement only no buy, I can have more than 28 bits of makeup, but I am so happy with this number. Some people were doing a finish 23 in 2023, but I intentionally didn't put myself on that challenge because I didn't think that I would be able to use up 23 bits of makeup, but it turns out that I have, and I've exceeded that, so don't ever doubt yourself. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you did like it. I love these types of videos to see all of the empties that people have used up throughout the year, so hope you liked it as well, and I will see you again very soon for my next one. Bye.